Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, back doing a best of one. Crimson Vow draft, rare, patchwork crawler. Not going to take this one. Weird card. I suppose if you have enough activated abilities, it could be good. It would be so much stronger if you could exile creatures from your opponent's graveyard. Then it would actually be much more relevant in this format as well. But I think it's probably a pretty easy Rending Flame here. Deals with a lot of things. And occasionally burns your opponent too. We also have a Braid, which is a mana cheaper, and deals with artifacts, but I still think Rending Flame is probably better. Cloaked Cadet in here, Lamholt Raconteur, I really like those cards. I like the Celebrants. I like Syncopate a lot, just because a lot of feel-bad rares you got to be able to counter. Hookhand Mariner is good. I like the Scattered Thoughts. I like a lot of cards in here. We're going to go with the Instant Speed removal. Okay, follow-up pick. Well, only thing in red is Sanguine Statuette. We're probably looking at Circle of Confinement. This is one of the unplayable rares in the format. Unplayable in my opinion. You pay one less mana than Diabolic Tutor, mill 13, and then you can get a card from your graveyard into your, or from your library into your hand. Yeah, not so good. Not even mill 13, exile, much worse. If it was mill 13, it might actually be an advantage in this format. Infestation Expert in here. I like the Minister, the Recluse, the Bat. Discussion is certainly playable. I like Massive Might, good trick, but yeah, we just take Circle of Confinement. Deals with a lot of threats. Not much else to say. Okay, strongest card here. Well, maybe Gift of Fangs. Chill of the Grave is good too. I personally like Fearful Villager. I feel like this card plays well. And it keeps us in line with Rending Flame. It's pretty rare. I don't even know if I've ever cut a Fearful Villager from my deck. There's Alchemist Gambit in here, but this is a tough one to make work. And the cleave cost is pretty expensive. But I mean, if you're a hardcore aggro deck, yeah, sometimes taking an extra turn, especially when your opponent's tapped out, could just mean lethal. But I think I'd rather take the Villager, and I'm okay doing it over a Gift of Fangs because it keeps us in line with the Rending Flame. And I like Villager more than Presence and Adamant Will, I would say. It's just a solid card. Kind of tells you how strong Shady Traveler was, since Shady Traveler is strictly better, and I still like Fearful Villager, so. All right, well, we see some black picks in here. In red, we've just got Weary Prisoner, which I don't really want. No white picks. Strongest card in here. Geez, none of them are particularly exciting. I think Gargantua is actually pretty good. What I like about it is it's a win con, and occasionally it does some pretty substantial things. It is quite a bit more expensive than Dissenter, but Dissenter's not the only good piece of sack fodder. To be honest, I don't really care about any of the picks in here enough to matter, so I'll just do Gargantua because I've played it and I think it's a pretty good card. Okay, here we actually have some good white picks. There's Flame Breather in red as well, but I don't think we want that. In black, we have a Grisly Ritual, Vampire's Kiss, Groom's Finery. Not really liking that all too much. Ancestor's pretty good because of the Disturb effect. Heron of Hope is also good, and it flies. Both of those things should be taken into account. I'm giving slight edge to Ancestor because even though it doesn't have flying, it is a mana cheaper and it comes back. So it's 2 cards in one. And it has lifelink that you don't have to pay for. I could go either way on that, and I wouldn't fault anybody for taking Heron, but I'm going to go with Ancestor. Usually 2 and 3 drops. You can tend to get as many as you can pick up and be happy. All right, well here I'm thinking about Brian Comer because I think the card's really good. Plus, if we end up wheeling any Nurturing Presence, then we've got ourselves a nice looking deck. Otherwise, there's Arm the Cathars, which is actually playable. Hookhand Mariner in green. We got Daybreak Combatants, which is playable. Ceremonial Knife is definitely playable too. I'm going to go with the Brian Comer. I think it's got the most upside. If we can end up playing it, we're probably going to be happy. So now in blue we have Retrieval and Skywarp Scab. Both those cards are fine, although Scab is going to be worse if we're going for like a... Because Disturb cards work really well with Braincomber too. And it has Disturb, which is nice. Could go Griff Rider. White Flyer kind of makes sense to me. Since I feel like... Well, I was going to say Braincomber's our strongest card, but Rending Flame is up there too. And Runebound Wolf is a totally playable card. Bloody Betrayal is probably better with exploit stuff, but let's just take the Griff Rider. It's fine. If I can make Braincomber work, I think I'm going to be happy about that. So I can take Piercing Light here. It's relatively cheap removal. I think I overrated Adamant Will at the beginning of the format. There's quite a few either exile effects, bounce effects, or Sigarda's Imprisonment style effects, so not as good as I'd hoped. Allenbach Escort's more for train decks, I would say. That's kind of where it makes the most sense. But Piercing Light is 1 mana removal, so it feels appropriate to take here. Well, we can take Scattered Thoughts. It keeps us in line with Braincomber. Cloak Cadet is probably the strongest card. I mean, it just draws you cards. Great card. Celebrant's in here in red if we wanted to maybe ditch out on the... We could ditch out on the Braincomber plan since we already have... Are the 2 red cards we have better than Braincomber? You know, it's a solid question. Maybe I'll just go Celebrants and stick with the white-red. Here I'm just going to take a Demonic Bargain because it's 20 gems, and otherwise I'm taking Point of Discussion, which I guess I could do. Yeah, if I opened some bomb black card, maybe I'd want to play Point of Discussion as some card advantage. Okay, I'll take it over 20 gems, I guess. Pretty speculative, though. All right, Nurturing Presence, more for the Braincomber plan, but I'll take it here over the Adamant Will, I would say. Aim for the Head, I would say, is probably more playable than Dread Fugue. All right, got another Nurturing Presence. So, chance we can make the Braincomber deck work still, I would say. Bleed Dry in black is pretty good. In white, we have a Nurturing Presence, which we've already wheeled to, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Strongest card in here is Bleed Dry. The question is, kind of going back and forth between black and red now and still speculating on Braincomber. There's not a white card worth taking here because I don't really like Vampire Slayer or Nurturing Presence enough to first pick. I would say the first pick is probably Bleed Dry if I think I'm going to end up in black, which I totally think that could happen. Gargantua is also good with Nurturing Presence because you're making sack fodder potentially. Bloodsworn Squire has kind of disappointed me. I'll just take the Bleed Dry. I'm okay with it. I'm not really giving up anything in red or white that I care enough about, so I'm still okay speculating on maybe, just maybe, making black-white work. So Courier Bat versus Desperate Farmer. They're both good cards. Circle of Confinement technically gains life, but it's pretty specific. Ancestor gains life. We don't have anything in black that gains life. Synergistically, we're in the right combination for Courier Bat, but we're also in the right combination for Desperate Farmer. They both want the same thing. And then there's also Piercing Light, which is more removal. I could just take the Piercing Light because we're still not 100% sure what our second color is. I only have 6 creatures right now, though, which is a little bit on the low side, but I personally like Piercing Light. Staves off aggro pretty well. I think we'll just take the white card because I'm fairly confident we're white. Twin Blade Geist is a good card, and I feel like I never really get to play it, and definitely good. Keeps us in white. I would say it's the strongest card in the pack. I actually really like Skull Scab a lot too. Perish Blade Trainee could go either way on. Recruit I like actually quite a bit. And Doom Dissenter still definitely playable in here, but let's take the Geist. I think it's easily the best card in here. Okay. So now we have Scavenger in black. That's a good reason to go down the black path. There's Lacerate Flesh and Flame Breather in red. Lacerate Flesh is playable, but I'd rather have a Scavenger. This is a great card. And exiling cards from your opponent's graveyard is just so nice. And draining your opponent for 2 and getting at that toucher. It's a nice package for 4 mana. The whole package of Diregraph Scavenger is just quite good. So am I ready to fully pull the trigger? I think I am, and Fleeting Spirit's a great pickup for us here. Let's ditch out on this. Pull the trigger on this. I think Gift of Things is actually very playable in here, but Fleeting Spirit's a fantastic card. Even when you're running a deck that probably doesn't always want to exile creatures from our graveyard, especially since we have like Ancestor and we have Disturb stuff. I still am happy to take Fleeting Spirit here. It's a great card. Great 2-drop. Good beater. Catapult Fodder. There's no way we can make that work, is there? No, we have like 2... Unfortunately, because it's a fun build around. I think it's a good card. Recluse, Socialite in black. Probably just take another Griff Rider, I think. Fleeting Spirit is fantastic with them, too. Great training. Nurturing Presence technically works well with training, too. But we can take another Griff Rider. I'm all right with that. It flies. All right, Heron. Not bad. Another flyer. Life gain. Life gain would be better if we had the bat, but that's all right. Heron is perfectly acceptably good there. All right. Evolving Wilds, Persistent Specimen, and Perish Blade Trainee. All of those are fine. We have 8 creatures currently. We need more. Evolving Wilds is guaranteed to make the deck. I don't know if either of these are. I've certainly cut both of them from my deck. We do need more creatures, but neither of them are really exciting me all that much. We'll probably just take Vampire Slayer. Hey, if I have to play it, I will. If we are short on creatures in a pinch, it'll do. Dig Up still in there, but that's all right. All right. I think we take the bat here. Life gain we have is the Ancestor, the Heron, the Scavenger. With Scavenger, we'd have to have 7 mana, but that's doable. Heron of Hope, we'd still have to have 5 mana. That's certainly doable. So, as I said before, we're in the right color for Courier Bat. I think we just need a few more tools. We have a lot of evasion in here, which is very good. None of these cards matter. It doesn't matter what we take. Beguiler or Heirloom can possibly splash. I don't think we're going to play Beguiler, although, yeah, I'm still short enough on creatures where I'll consider it. Bride's Gown. Yeah, when you have a lot of flyers, it could be playable. Recluse is good. This is probably not the right deck for it just because we don't really have the blood tokens to support it. But another Bleed Dry here is a great pickup. Still a little bit short on creatures, but not enough where I'm worried in pack 3 here. I think we'll easily wheel a Specimen and an Officiant if I really want to play an Officiant. Probably won't wheel a Gift of Fangs, but that's all right. Grolnock's a cool card. Nurturing Presence seems pretty good with Geist, too. That's cool. Circle of Confinement. Oh, wow. Past Henrika. That is a gift. This card is way... This is like... Look at all the cards in this pack for us. Henrika. Look at this top line. Henrika, Circle of Confinement, Valorous Stance, Fierce Retribution. I would absolutely love to have any of those cards. I would play the Socialite. I would play the Geist. Easy Henrika. This is just... I wouldn't say it's a feel-bad rare, but... It is a powerhouse mythic. Very, very powerful. Adds to our life gain count too, so we even have possibly a method to get it back with the Courier Bat, which is great. What? Well, mark it here, folks. First time I've gotten to play Dreadfeast Demon, and once again in a pack with just so many good cards for us. The Cavalry, the Stance, the Heron, Play the Presence, the Imprisonment, the Scavenger. So many goodies. Dreadfeast Demon is absolutely incredibly strong. Infantry seems like a great pickup for us here. Just solid 2-drop creature. Yeah. Probably want the Farmer here. I like this card. It's got life gain. I think it's better than everything else in here. Although you could argue the Heron, but we've got a good amount of 4-drops now, I would say. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 4-drops is probably good. Let's take the Farmer, which is just solid playable 3-drop. All right, Imprisonment versus Ancestors, also Gluttonous Guest and Doomed Dissenter. These are all fine. We'll go with the Imprisonment. The Imprisoment's going to make our Gargantua worse, but the beauty of Imprisonment is you can still just exile it in a pinch, and then it still turns on our Gargantua, so that's good. Well, I would say Blood Fountain looks a lot better when you have cards like, you know, Dreadfast Demon or Dreadfeast Demon and Henrika, so I think we take the Bloodfeast Demon, although we already have a deck. So I could just take an Evolving Wilds, the second one, and make our, like, you just mulligan so much less when you have cards like that. But with 2 bombs, I'm willing to, I think we're probably going to want to play the, all right, Imprisonment, take it. A lot of goodies in here. I think we're officially off the Nurturing Presence plan, mostly because we don't have a ton of ways to capitalize on it anyway. Doubt we need this. 16 creatures, so weakest creatures, probably the Recluse, just, I imagine, although we do have Blood Fountain now. We'll see. Oh, Beguiler can probably go. Yeah, Beguiler is a card I didn't want to run anyway. Specimen, Unofficiant, neither of them are particularly good. Doesn't really matter. I should say neither are very good for us. Or would I rather have that than like a Vampire Slayer? It is a perpetual blocker. Socialite's good, but wow. Circle of Confinement. Came back, huh? Fierce Retribution in there too. I mean, great options, but this pack, or this deck rather, is just goodies.deck. Well, I guess the Recluse gets better with 2-Pointed Discussion and Blood Fountain, but there's no way we're playing 2-Pointed Discussion. We don't have the space for that. Our removal suite is way too good to play 2-Pointed Discussion. We don't necessarily have to play 15 creatures since our removal suite is just so good. I can come up with some sort of plan for this. Definitely playing 17 lands. We've got a 7-drop. I'd like to play the Fountain just as a means to get it back. But 16 creatures. We can cut one. I think we can get rid of the discussions. We can probably cut one creature, which possibly is the Vampire Slayer just because it's not that great. We don't have great sack fodder for Gargantua either, but Gargantua is fine as an occasional 5/4 kill a powerful creature or just a 5-mana 5/4 beater. Both of those options are fine. And Vampire Slayer is pretty underwhelming, I would say, most of the time. We've got Blood Fountain, 2 Imprisonments. So we still have 3 methods to get a blood token for Recluse. Might just cut the Slayer, and I can cut one more creature. So we have, I could cut a creature or a non-creature. We have 2 Piercing Lights, 2 Circle of Confinements, 2 Imprisonments, 2 Bleed Dries, Henrika's removal, Haratide Gargantua's technically removal. Kind of at a loss of what to cut here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to keep all my life gain because Herons get so much better with the life gain. Griff Rider really is not going to be able to get trained all that often. If we flip Farmer, it can get trained a couple times. But Fleeting Spirit's a good way to do it. Flipped Recluse is a good way to do it. So we have the means to do it, but Griff Rider, I feel like for the most part, is a 3-mana 2/1 flyer in here, which is not great, but there might be worse. I am thinking about just cutting the Griff Rider, running 14 creatures, and calling it good, though. We do have 6 4-drops. I hope that's not too many. But our removal is very good. I do like Griff Rider, but I don't feel like it's being optimized here. You could argue we're not optimizing Gargantua, but just like I said, I mean, it's nice having that versatility, and a 5/4 body is pretty good. 5/4 body with potential upside could be good. Especially if I have a creature that's like not doing anything. It also randomly can flip my farmer if I'm sacking something else. I mean, you can sack an infantry or a Geist and really not feel terrible about it. Or like I said, it's just played as a 5-mana 5/4. Thinking about cutting a Griff Rider. I like my life gain cards more, so my Herons and Scavenger and all that. All right, I think I'll cut a Griff Rider. Call this a deck. Pretty cool. Looks good. Definitely looks good. All right. We'll run it like this. We'll see you round 1. Okay, here we're in round 1. We're going to keep this. Good hand. Got a little removal. Got some cheap creatures. His hand just needs some lands, and then we'll be in business. So I'm going to hold off on the Evolving Wilds for now because I can actually play the infantry. And I would say based on this hand, we definitely want the second black mana, so do that and attack. I think if they block, I'll Piercing Light because I'm not doing anything else with my mana this turn. And if they attack it with it as a 2/2, I'll definitely Piercing Light as well. But like I said, we'll get the second black mana with our Evolving Wilds here. All right, so now we just play Henrika. And I think we'll just make each player sack a creature. I mean, they get a free attack here, and I'm probably not going to block. Thankfully, I do have the means to bring that back. So the play here is just going to be Ancestor and leave up Piercing Light. I think I'm still okay blocking it. It's a 2 for 2, but our dude comes back. So how do I feel about a Heron of Hope here? Heron seems pretty good. We need a 5th land at some point, but getting a flyer that can lifelink, I think I'll leave it on top. We can also play every spell in our hand. I think that makes me feel a little better about it too. Especially since it kind of sets us up for a potential courier bat into getting Henrika back, which definitely is good. We do need to rip a land in order to do that, but that's all right. Sure. Oh, it's got Death Touch, that's right. All right, so we did not get the 5th land, which makes this a little bit trickier. So we definitely want to play a spell here. I think I'm just going to play infantry on the Heron and pass. That way, I play a spell, I have a blocker, I can get a lot of lifelink eventually. If I don't draw land here, at least I can bleed dry the Celebrants and hang out. If I do draw land here, I can lifelink. Okay. Well, we can take care of Weaver. That's not bad. I think the play is circle the Weaver and then Ancestor the Heron and get in for 4. And gain 5, which is pretty good. So we'll take care of this little feller. Kind of putting all of our eggs in one basket here, but that's all right. That guy's big. All right. Oh, still a ways away from that. So we can bleed dry the hunter. So we'll just get in with the heron here. And I think I guess I'll just bleed dry the hunter now. All right, so 5th land now, so we can get in here. Then we can go bat, getting back Henrika. Could also do the Griff Rider. I'm trying to think what I like more. And getting back Henrika, let me think about this. I definitely think we want to advance because we're winning the race right now. And Courier Bat technically keeps Epicure back. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll play this. Get Henrika back. We can always transform her, draw, do any of those things. All right, that's a big dude. We do have the Sigarda's Imprisonment, though, so we're still okay on that front. Especially if we draw a land here. Did not get the land, but that's okay. I think we just imprison the hunter. Just get in with the heron because it keeps their dudes back. Not all their dudes, but... I mean, I'm willing to trade with a Runebound Wolf at this point, too. If I have to. Alright, so that dude flips. It'd be nice to play 2 spells here. We are just a mana away from doing that, and then we can flip their dudes back. Did not quite get it. It's okay. Oh, I guess we did get 2 spells. So let's do the circle. Someone told me you can't target the Rip Hook Rider. Let's find out. This would be a good little experiment. Well, they're correct. So it goes by the front of the card. Guess we'll take out the Runebound Wolf. Because why not? And then we'll do... this raises an interesting question. If I do Griff Rider, I can attack with both. Yeah, and then... Let's see, they could deal... Otherwise, I'm doing the... Well, I feel like the Rider is actually the smartest because we're going to gain 5 life here, and then we... Even if they deal with the Heron, we have a lot of lethal... A lot of lethal in the sky. So we'll do the Griff Rider. We'll attack for 6. We gain 5. Their dude flips back. They currently represent 10 damage. So I think I take it all. So even if they have the kill for Heron, we have a lot of lethal in the sky. All right. We got there. We'll see you for the next one. All right, this is a keep. I think we can do Evolving Wilds first, and I think we saw a lot of double black that game. Do we even have double white? There's no double white. Plenty of double black, so we'll just do the Evolving Wilds now and get the second black mana. Even though we technically have more white in hand. I think getting the tap land out of the way now is just fine. Ooh, that was a good draw because it's going to work well with the Drift Rider, getting some training going. All right, so Circle of Confinement is just amazingly good against that. So I could take this turn, setting up for it. I think I'm in a Circle of Confinement, and the reason I'm doing it is we deal with the Crawler in the best way imaginable. They don't get to draw. We still get in for 3 points of damage. It does keep me back a turn on Griff Rider, but what I like about it is, and I guess it didn't make the best use of mana, but it keeps them off of their fight spells too. Like now they can't like Wolf Strike or anything. Well, guess we could do this a couple ways, huh? Let's just do the Griff Rider and pass. Get the flyer going now. That way we could train and still discard like a Heron if we don't draw land. And we still get to train our Griff Rider by doing that, which is pretty good. Okay, so we did get the 4th land here, which makes me a little more keen on just doing a Heron and getting in with the Griff Rider. I'm kind of okay with that. Otherwise, I have to discard a card to keep Fleeting Spirit alive, which isn't the worst, but I kind of like all the cards in our hand. It does get us, it allows us to get extra damage, but I guess they didn't draw what they needed, so we'll just go to the next game here. All right, this is keep. Well, 2 can play at that game. Oh, nice. We even drew the Recluse, which is probably the best thing we could have asked for. If we're not going to land, Recluse is certainly the best thing could have otherwise asked for. Sure. Oh. Wasn't expecting that. So what do we want to discard here? Unfortunately, it might be a land? Gosh, that seems crazy, but I don't want to discard any of these things, and I definitely want to flip my Recluse. I don't have to flip my Recluse, but I'm okay with it. Let's... Actually, let me think about this. We can... Okay. That's not bad. We can discard the Heron, and we can get it back with Bat. With the flip. Okay. Well, that works. Or we can get it back with the Blood Fountain, but more likely get it back with the Bat. So basically, we get in with the Recluse now. It's going to flip. And then we're looking kind of good. Sure. So I can deal with that at some point. For now, we just... Odie's Witch is still a human, right? Yeah, human warlock. I can't Circle of Confinement. I can't Piercing Light it. I think we just get in for 3. Drain him a little bit there. Then we'll play the Bat. And we can get back our Heron of Hope here, which is fine. So, I won't sacrifice. I might be willing to lose my Bat here. So we'll stop after damage. Sure. So 5th land definitely seems good. We can just slam a Gargantua there if I really want. And am I willing to sack the Odious Witch? I guess that's a good question. Or at this point, do I want to just bleed dry? I guess... Guess we want to bleed dry the Traveler. Although, yeah. I've got options here. I do have options. It might make the most sense to maximize their mana with the Gargantua, because although it's a little tricky, because I might eventually be able to use the Gargantua to make them sack the Traveler, which is probably desirable. Can also bleed dry the Traveler and just get in with the Odious Witch, but bleed dry is pretty useful. I mean, their Traveler is going to be a good win con now. It's going to be a 6 power flyer. All right. I think we just get in with the Witch. And I think I play the Gargantua. And the reason that I'm doing this is because if I draw a land, I'm able to kill both their creatures. So I'm not going to sack anything. We're going to take 6 damage in the air. I still have the bleed dry for the invader, so it's not the end of the world. We also have our Gargantua that you now have to deal with. Well, that one's pretty good. All right, piercing light in there. So what do you think about this? I can bleed dry the security too. Oh yeah, and then I can piercing light the guest. That's pretty good. Because otherwise they're going to draw cards off of the security, so this seems fine. Because they're also going to block the witch, and then I can piercing light. Oh, that's not what I expected. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Well, I hope they can't immediately exploit it, because then we're in a little bit of trouble. All right, kept it back. That's pretty good for us, actually. So let's circle the egg. And I think we just get in with the Gargantua here, because I want to follow up with the Heron anyway. They don't actually have the mana to do the Blood Fountain yet anyway, so this is pretty good. And we have our own Blood Fountain to get back, you know, goodies here, so that's good. It's a lot of Biolume eggs. I didn't even pay super close attention to what they did on the last one. Yeah, that's pretty good. With 7 mana, we can do Fountain. I think we'll deal the damage to the Biolume egg here. We get to scry. All right. We'll see for the next one. All right, this is keep. Good hand. Beater with removal, a lot of removal backup. And I am willing to probably discard something to save my Fleeting Spirit if they try and, you know, burn it here or whatever. Ah, well, I've got the best answer you could have for that, so that's pretty nice. So if they use removal spell on Fleeting Spirit, I'll discard a Plains, because the Plains doesn't really help us that much anyway right now. Sure. Yeah, so let's just do Circle of Confinement again, because we get rid of their... I feel like they have the Flame Blessed Bolt, but we can easily discard a Plains now, and I'm willing to trade a Plains in hand for a Flame Blessed Bolt and feel pretty good about it. I mean, they're just thinking it over, like, is it worth the worst card in their hand for my Flame Blessed Bolt? And I don't have a good answer for them. They've probably decided not. I'm willing to play the Plains now. I still think they might use it here, and then I can still discard the Plains, but we'll see. Hungry Ridgewolf. All right. Hungry Ridgewolf. So I think we'll just do the Imprisonment, because I can create a blood token off of it. And we still have a Bleed Dry. Technically, we still want to be playing lands, and the reason is because we have the 7-drop in here. Heron Blessgeist is pretty good. Alright, so now we can Bleed Dry the Geist and still get in there, I guess. Also Exiles, which is relevant there. Admittedly, I've used a lot of resources here, but it's all right. It's a good one. Okay, Courier Bat. Let's just do this now. Guess we'll attack first. Actually, I guess we maybe don't want to attack so I can give first strike. That makes sense. So we'll pass for now. Obviously discard the Plains if they use the Flame Blessed Bolt. Sure. So we'll discard this. They can use the Flame Blessed Bolt. And then we'll discard the Courier Bat. Don't love it, but we'll do it. I'm surprised. Well, I guess, yeah, maybe that makes sense. So I suppose we can do this first. All right. Definitely want to sandbag that land now for removal purposes here. Them having removal, I mean, because I can always give Dude or Magruder first strike, so. Good draw there. All right. All right. I wonder why they let me train. Well, I guess this kind of makes sense. Hmm. So we have 2 lethal creatures. They have to have an answer for the Heron here. All right. Still digging. Easily take it. All right. We'll see you for the next one. All right, we have a keep here. No black mana, but Bleeding Spirit is good enough where even if they use removal on it or whatever we have to do, we could probably, hopefully, discard some cards and keep Fleeting Spirit around and kicking. Or trade it off. That's a sweet looking land. All right. So, oh, that's a good draw there. All right. Well, let's see here. Am I willing to trade a Fleeting Spirit for a Ragged Recluse? Since I have the Blood Fountain, I kind of am. I think this is okay. I can get it back. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm more surprised they didn't want to trade. I was Very much expecting for them to want to trade there. Ooh, well, I guess it makes more sense if they have that. All right, that's good. We're going to have our second black mana now because of that. So we can get Henrika online next turn. So I think we just go land and pass. Evolving Wilds is also good with Fleeting Spirit since it fills the graveyard for first strike capabilities. So I think I'll offer that. We have the Blood Fountain, so I might as well trade, I feel like. It also, I have the Scavenger too, so it's kind of even more reason to do it, I feel like. Plus, I can't really attack into the Catapult Fodder. There's quite a few reasons to do it there, I would say. All right. So I don't have to do Henrika first. Especially given that Scavenger right now is pretty phenomenal. Eat their dude, drain them, and have an attacker that they can't really block. That's enough incentive, especially if they have removal, where maybe I want to hold off on Henrika for now. So I'm going to play a Swamp, and I'm actually going to use my Blood Token to get rid of the Plains. This is just making best use of my mana right now. And then we'll do the Scavenger. And I'll eat the Recluse. So, once again, what this does is gives me a blocker for Ancestor, gives me an attacker, potentially sets them in line for removal. If they have removal, I'd rather them do it on the Scavenger than Henrika. All right, Gargantua is pretty good. I think it's time for Henrika, though. So why don't we attack with Scavenger? Well, no, we can't do that because this is on combat. So we'll do Henrika and we'll draw. All right, very good. I think we'll probably end up disregarding the each player sacks a creature effect. I'm okay with that. Not necessary. So we have the Bleed Dry too, which means you can at least take out Catapult Fodder if necessary. So do I want to block here? You know, it's a reasonable question. We're probably far enough ahead where I won't risk running into Piercing Light and Adamant Will. I could have kept the Scavenger back there for that reason. That's true too. Resistance Squad's a good one. So they can flip the fodder, but we have the Bleed Dry. When do they flip it? It's the beginning of combat. So with 7 lands, we can do Bleed Dry plus Imprisonment. Can also do the Gargantua, because I think they would trade their Scavenger. So we probably just flip Henrika. Am I playing? I guess I'm not. We have 7 mana. So I might as well pump this. Because I'm going to gain life, so I don't have to use the imprisonment on the squad. So I can do this. That's 3, and I can still use Bleed Dry. I think I'm all right with that. And I'll just do I'll just do the bleed dry on the fodder, I think. I mean, I can do it on the squad too, and then... But, I mean, I think I do it on the fodder. Because it gives them the opportunity to sack something, and... I don't know if it actually matters, but... This allows me to keep most of their dudes back anyway. And I still have the follow-up imprisonment. Oh, jeez. Well, I'm going to have to deal with that as quick as I can. So, if I block here, Scavenger will die, and they'll get a slime token. If I draw a land, though, I can deal with Toxrill right away. I might not get an... If I don't draw the land, though, I won't even get the opportunity to do this block, though. So... Alright. So... We do imprisonment on Toxrill. Henrika won't die, so that's the good news. Because we'll do 1, 2... Yeah, so this is presumably okay. I can also... I think we want to save the fountain for in case Henrika dies. So we can do this on the resistance squad. And it just prevents them from training and still allows me to get some damage in there. Ooh, Edgar too, huh? Got some sweet art. I like my opponent's art a lot here. So, the wise display currently is definitely take care of this little baddie. So our Henrika comes back. Then... because of the way it tapped my mana, I can now not pump Henrika, unfortunately. She does have Death Touch, though, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So, for that reason, I already have the means to play everything I need to play. Although... If I have 8 mana, is it more beneficial for me to sack Fountain and still be able to play like a Scavenger? I mean, that is pretty good. Do they even have... They're going to do their Kindly Ancestor, I think. So, I think I'm okay with just passing here. I may actually take 4. They didn't do the Kindly Ancestor, which I was expecting them to do. That's actually pretty interesting. Huh. All right. Now I kind of wish I'd played the land. I guess I still can, and then I can take care of the Kindly Ancestor and get a Death Toucher on the ground. That's pretty good. So I don't want to discard the land now. So we go... My turn. Now we go land, Blood Fountain, get back these 2. We go Scavenger, We eat the Ancestor so they don't get lifelink online. I can attack with this. So if they attack with Purifier, we have a way to trade for it. Can easily take Edgar. Purifier we trade for because it's got lifelink. Piercing Light's cool. So Gargantua keeps dudes back too. And we have 8 mana, so we can do Gargantua plus Farmer. And I can still technically kill them next turn. So this is fine. Makes sense. So, this is interesting. So if I block, they lose Edgar, but I flip my Farmer, but they're going to start spitting dudes out. I think I'll take it this turn. All right. So first things first, we can, let's see, with 9 mana, I don't have enough black anyway, so let's just ditch the plains. Okay. So we can Gargantua does not get pumped by this. Let's see. With 7 mana, I can pump, and still use Piercing Light, technically. So maybe we just get in with... They're going to block Henrika. I'm not sure I have enough luxuries to not attack here. I mean, I have a lot of removal that I haven't drawn yet too. I have another Bleed Drive, another Imprisonment. Problem is if I smash with the Gargantua, yeah, that could cause some issues too. They don't have the white mana to give that first strike. This is tricky. I think we'll We'll get in with everything. I'm gonna hope that this piercing light somehow pays off. That's unexpected. Suppose we can do our own Bleeding Spirit here. Got some good rares in there. Piercing Light with our Fleeting Spirit, I feel like still does some work for us, which is nice. But it doesn't do a ton of work against that Bloodseeker. That's one I was not expecting them to attack with. Alright, Kindly Ancestor is pretty good here. So if I attack with Gargantua, they block with Edgar. If I attack with Fleeting Spirit and they block with Edgar, do I like that more or less? Edgar dying doesn't seem great for me because this game still has some time left in it. So I wonder if I just play the Ancestor and pass. We're basically a demon away from winning here, I feel like. I have a good double block for Bloodseeker now. All right. So I think at this point well, Heron will do. It's not the demon we were looking for, but it'll do. So I can attack with the Gargantua, but they can block with Fleeting Spirit and a little slime dude, so I don't know if that's good enough. Let's just do the Heron and pass. It's a good draw. Twin Blade Geist is quite good here because it actually prevents them from gaining life with their 1/1 tokens, at least for now, until Edgar comes back. Whoops. Maybe they forgot about the Bloodseeker. Or the Geist, obviously. Yeah. All right. We'll take it. We'll see you for the next one. All right. We've got a good keep here. Both colors. Recluse into Desperate Farmer. That's pretty good. Minister's a good one. I'm willing to trade my Recluse for that. Although I would rather have a Desperate Farmer out first. This is okay with me. We kind of both get good effects out of that deal, I feel like. That's a good one. So, yeah, I think we'll imprison that. 8-point life swing is a little too much to pass up here. Good thinking. All right, so we'll get. Ooh, it's a good draw. I'll do the Twin Blade guys first here. Sure. So we can imprison the Ancestor too. Could wait for them to drop the infantry on it first. Yeah, maybe I'm okay with that. I'll take one big hit, but then they'll put all the eggs in one basket. Let's do that. So I'll just cash this out now. We'll go land and pass. And I can probably cash out the swamp too. Sure. All right. I mean, I guess technically we need 7 lands, but I'm okay with this for now. All right. Let's do the imprisonment on the Ancestor. Play our own infantry. And I could play it. I don't know if it matters. Ooh, Wedding Announcement's a good one. I mean, the thing is we need to actually find... Bleeding Spirit's a good one too. Sure. I think we actually sandbag the land, even though it prevents us from being able to do something with the Ancestor, exile it or whatever. I'm kind of okay with this. Do I have first strike, right? Okay. That's good. So, yeah, cool with that. Dollhouse is a good one. How much does it cost to use it? Just one? Okay. Huh. Ooh, Gargantua. Well, we're just playing Gargantua as a fatty for now, which is fine. I guess I can still attack. Do they have creatures in there? They don't even have any more creatures. So when's this? This triggers at end of turn. So, alright, I can attack with this and I guess this too. Oh, I only have 2 cards in my yard? Never mind. I can attack with the infantry at least. Alright, so now they have bigger dudes. We just need to find our demon here. Alright. No rush. Alright, so we can go infantry. Might as well play a land. And pass. So I can always ditch a land to save the spirit. I'll lose my enchantment, but I'm kind of okay with that. I think I'd rather just save the piercing light for now. That's cool. So we'll circle the minister. That way they can't gain any more life for now. And they can't get it back with Dollhouse of Horrors, which is nice. So we'll just discard the swamp. We lose armament, but it's an okay trade. I think I'm going to piercing light that, just keep digging for our... oh, well, there's a fantastic one to dig for. Oh, I should have played the Heron to... I would have gained 1 extra life, but that's all right. Sure. So, we actually want to give lifelink here. Can I double pump it? Wait, is it flying too? Oh, okay. So I can kill it anyway. Oh, whoops. Well, guess we'll try not to do that next turn. Could have played the bat, but I still want to keep the bat in case Henrika dies. But we'll see. Is there anything worth bringing back otherwise? I mean, I'm also just... It might just be worth it, honestly, to just play the bat. Because once I draw a second swamp, then I can attack into the Heron. Plus, I'm going to get Heron back here, so it's probably okay. Oh. That would have let me double pump, but I still feel like I'd rather have a... Still feel like I'd rather have a spell here. Could be crazy, could be wrong, but we'll see. Still have lethal from above, so they need more. I mean, we've got that demon. I've kind of just been digging towards that, I guess. Well, let's see if we can get him here. All right. See you for the next one. All right, there's a keep. Good hand again. We'll still start off getting the second black. just for curve purposes. Ah, Enrica. Oh, good. Got a great answer for that. Could have played the bat, I guess, too. I don't really know if that's better. But, ooh, Child of Pact, strong one. Perfect timing on that one. Let's do Henrika. We're each gonna sack. I'll lose my Recluse. You can use the Child. I'll get in for 2. Heron of Hope. So, options now. I could bleed dry the Heron. I think I'd rather do... I think I'd rather do Gargantua and sack my Rider. This is possibly questionable to do it this way, but I'd rather get that extra card draw and just still be able to get in and play a 5/4. Like, it maximizes my mana. I can still get the Rider back at some point. So let's transform Batty here. Get in. That's the one they choose. Oh, they must have 2. All right. That makes more sense. Oh, wait, they don't? Huh. That was unexpected. Let's do the bat then. Get back, guess Gargantua again? Huh. Maybe I shouldn't have played the bat? Because now they could answer, now they could kill Henrika, but Henrika's already done so much for me. I don't know if it matters. Oh, I'd say that's a good sign. All right, well, just 7-0'd with this deck, huh? What's funny is this deck had a feel bad rare in it, lest anybody forgot. We had the Dirty Demon, which is probably it's certainly one of the worst Defender rares in this format, arguably the worst, and we played it exactly 0 times, as Alex Stephenson is wont to do with awesome rares. But deck just won in spite of Dread Feast Demon never getting played. It still won 7-0, which is pretty incredible. Much better than I was anticipating it doing. I mean, I knew it was a good deck. It had a lot of good removal, but usually you get a loss or 2 in there, so very happy with performance of this deck here. All right, pack one, pick one. Easy Rending Flame. Great removal. Back one, pick one here. I'm okay going Gifted Fangs. Cheap removal. It's going to be good against quite a few playable cards in the format. I've had it certainly not do anything against the Vampire aggro deck, but it's still pretty good. Here, decent options actually. I guess we'd have to go with the Wolf Strike. One-sided removal that can boost 2 sometimes. All right, here, Necro Duality. It'd be a fun build around. It's weird to me that this is Mythic. This really doesn't feel strong enough to be Mythic. Otherwise, probably safe pick is Sigarda's Imprisonment, but you know me. We're probably laid out enough in the format where, just out of interest's sake, I would first pick a Necro Duality and see if I could actually put together some sort of zombie, copy zombie deck. Presumably black-blue. All right, pack one, pick one here. Really good cards in here. I'd go with the Abrade, but yeah, Outcast and Brambleworm are Really nice ones too. And finally, I guess still go with Necro Duality. Just for interest's sake. Yeah, I guess that's fine. All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you for the next one.